Hello, everyone. Welcome to my presentation on my report titled Hate Speech in the United States, an evaluation of legally banning hate speech. So we will just jump right into it. There is a lot of information to cover here. Essentially, the purpose of my report was to look into the conversation that was being had about the legalization of hate speech and whether it should be banned or not. Recently, there has been, some calls for censorship or regulation on hate speech. So I kind of wanted to get into it and see what each side, what their points were. What is hate speech? This is really important in going forward with this report. I'm just going to summarize these two quotes here. Nadine Strassen is a professor at the New York Law School. She's former president of the ACLU. She makes a very good point here when she says that the Supreme Court has basically not ruled on hate speech, so there's no legal definition of hate speech. Um, and that's really important to point out because since the Supreme Court has not ruled on it, they have not set a precedent for it for which attorneys can prosecute hate speech. The American Library Association, they have a more traditional and widely accepted definition of hate speech. I'll just read this here. Any form of expression through which speakers intend to vilify, humiliate, or incite hatred against a group of class of persons on the basis of race, religion, skin color, sexual identity, gender identity, ethnicity, disability, or national origin. The First Amendment is basically directly tied into this. The First Amendment is what gives Americans the right to speech or the freedom of speech. It's important to make the distinction that this pertains to the government only. It does not pertain to um, private institutions like schools or employers. There's a list of unprotected speech. This can be prosecuted as a crime. This list here was put together by the University of Southern California. So, unprotected speech includes incitement, true threats, fighting words, obscenity, defamation, harassment, and heckler's veto. Overview of positions. Position A supports banning hate speech. They believe that words do cause actual physical harm to you. They kind of link it to the same as physical assault, where someone says something hateful to you, you have psychological reactions to it, you have physical reactions to it. So they believe that it is kind of physical violence. They also believe that is a direct link to real violence. So they believe that hate speech kind of spurs on actual hate crimes that occur later. They also note issues online. There's a lot of studies about hate speech online and harassment online. There are some reports that say about 50% of people have experienced some sort of online harassment in their lifetime. Position B does not support banning hate speech. They strongly believe in the freedom of speech, as is written in the Constitution, and they kind of see it as a slippery slope where if one right is taken away, that will begin the erosion of rights for Americans. And there's a lot of like paranoia and fear of the government that's happening here. They also argue against the arguments that words are actually physically harmful. They claim that words are more of an annoyance and more of a distress, but it does not actually like physically affect you. Conclusion. I do not support hate speech. I believe in treating others the way that you would like to be treated. But I do believe in not banning hate speech. I do believe in free and open communication. I think that's what makes the United States a stronger democracy. I think these messages that are hateful, that are being sent out, are kind of, they are hateful and they are unwanted, but they're also kind of signals to the rest of the culture in a way, so we can have open conversations about racism, sexism, mental health. We can also track these hate groups that are, putting out these hateful messages and then also acting on them in some cases. To wrap up this report, my recommendation is that we change the American culture to diminish hatred and aggression. I believe that the American culture is kind of built on dominance and power and strength. And I think we need to kind of reevaluate those values. What does it mean to be dominant? What does it mean to be the best? What does it really mean to be an American? And on that note, I have a call to action for everybody. I think every American should ask themselves this question: why should one American hate another American? Thank you.